Welcome viewers, you're with Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, Theologist. We're on the bike. And I wanted to give you a bit of a highway view. I'm just racing up to the exit to come down through the Mooney Bridge Old Road. Thank you for joining me on the channel, and I do hope this video finds you well. Many of you could be going through a breakup, and one of the important things for a breakup is to understand what happened, and if there's reason from your side, you really need to come to terms with that and try and find a way of resolving whatever it has been that's caused you to lose or end the relationship. I'm just showing you some various clips today of the hobbies that I do. Try and encourage you to get out and do things. I'm 57 going on 58, and I just haven't got time anymore to be mucking around with people that are going to make life hard for me. I don't make life hard for anyone, and this is part of the reason for a breakup. If people don't want to really add value to your life, they don't want to play a full part, well, you got to make some serious decisions, and it's not to criticize the person or be cruel or nasty to them. Just haven't got time to waste over grievances and things that really don't matter in the first place, honestly. And here we are on the bike. What a beautiful bike this bike is. I mean, it's state of the art BMW K1300R sports bike. It's just an absolute sensation. But with that said, these hobbies I'm showing you because you must have a life alongside your relationship. And I've always managed to maintain that. I never wanted my partners to feel smothered or drowned by who I am. And it's really important to be able to give the other person space without any concern or worry. And if they know you're an honest person and that you're just getting about your hobbies and, you know, making the most of the life that you have, they're not going to have an issue with that, and it's going to give them time to do what they want to do, spend time with their kids, maybe whatever. Some people are into other less constructive things, but it gives them time to do what they're going to do, and hopefully they're honest as well, and it works for everybody that way, doesn't it? But space, I've always said, is a gift. It's a gift to the other person as we come into what's called the old road. I've been riding this road now for 45 years, and it's a beautiful ride. It's one of the best riding roads in the world, but I hope you enjoyed the scenery. What I've found at my age, the biggest problem is, and I'm not sure why, is triangulation. And it usually starts off with older children that are with the woman, that are the woman's children. And she'll try to balance it out and navigate it as best as she can. I've seen this several times now, but they're up against people that know who they are and what they do and what buttons to push and all this kind of stuff, and that's just too much for you to have to navigate. You shouldn't have to navigate that. And when it comes to that point where things are just being neglected, that can be resolved, probably via dynamics within her family and between her and her children, you can, gee, I didn't know I was doing 90Ks. Goodness, I'll have to slow that down a bit. You have to be very careful about communicating with these people on what the issues are relative to their maternal bonds and enmeshments, but sometimes you got to call it for what it is, and if they don't like it, then that's your, sadly, you're out. And gee, I didn't know I was going that fast. Sorry viewers, 90Ks, it's a 60K zone. What's going on there? Goodness gracious, I gotta review some things. Maternal issues are very, very sensitive. I do have to say they will put up a fight if they got the value for you. They'll put up a fight so far. But what they don't understand is these children, adult children, or whatever they are, men, I've had 4 or 5 of them now, they know exactly how to manipulate the mother, when to manipulate the mother, when to strike, when to feign illnesses and sicknesses and mental breakdowns, and I don't know, all the manipulations that you can think of in the book. I've seen them do it all. Psychological collapses, narcissistic collapse, fainting at the doctors just to make sure they got the full attention of the mother, weeing himself at the doctors. These are adult men weeing himself at the doctors, feigning fits but actually being pissed and on cocaine or something. I don't know what it was. Something was going on, something stupid. And they'll do whatever they can to keep the mother focused on them. Now, my approach to this is never to separate the mother. Watch this corner. Never separate the mother from the children or interfere with the mother and the children. That's her business. And you don't want to cause division between these people. These things are resolvable without conflict. You'll get a bit of performance from the males, but they'll usually come around if you hold your ground. There'll always be an arm wrestle. That's just a given. But as the partner, if the woman does not really resolve anything within the first month, then you can very well just consider that the enmeshment's too deep, that the child has the authority over the mother, that the mother doesn't want to upset that, and then you realise then that you're just a supply, so you have to start to detach. I mean, when you're building, you've got to allow the momentum of that to come back. Let the momentum come back. It takes time. It can take a month. But while you're doing this, you'll notice that there really is nothing being resolved. That's just how it is. There's nothing being fixed, resolved, or anything of that nature. This leaves you in a pretty tough situation, because you might like this person and you might have been building towards a future, but some of these people just don't believe that that's possible for themselves. They've never really had anybody that's come alongside them and said, well, come on, we can make this work. And so while you're trying to move forward, like on this bike, they're just parked on the side of the road somewhere, wondering, well, how does all this work? Because they don't know. They just don't know. So they don't believe that there is a future for themselves. That's just not what they believe. They don't see that for themselves. They don't think of that for themselves. And there's a picture of myself sitting on the bike. They don't see that for themselves. They don't picture that for themselves. And they end up missing out, and they don't need to. But that's what life does to people. They lose their faith, they lose their belief, they lose their confidence, they lose their enthusiasm. They become zombified. It's really quite sad. And you're watching them default. You're watching them now slip back into their default. They'll start to lose their presentation. They might be coming over medicated, on alcohol, or the devil's lettuce, dope. They could also start turning up late or not show any interest. It's quite sad, really, what can happen. But these things do happen, and they do wear away at you. Can be male or female. Males are just as guilty for this. I mean, a woman that gets stuck with a male that's just not going to do the right thing by her, that's not fair. That's really not fair. And this happens all the time. So what people have got to realise, it's a damn miracle if you meet someone that's interested in you and is prepared to really have a go. You know, that's it's not just found around every corner. It's the significance of that is just you can't put a price on it. And if somebody lets that slip through their fingers, they may never have that again. So it's not for us to take these things for granted. It's not for us to come into a relationship and say, let's make it exclusive and just dilly-dally around. And you'll see in a minute we come into this thick school of jelly blubbers. I mean, it's a really mind-boggling how many there are just up here. Here we go. Look at them all. So if you meet somebody and there is the possibility of things working, don't take it for granted. It's not worth it. Make the effort. Enjoy each other's company. Enjoy the time that you have together. Enjoy the intimacy and the way in which you sleep together. You know, see these interferences, these jelly blubbers, they're everywhere. And this is what comes against our relationships. See, the hydrofoil would have been, it hits those, bang, 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 and it knocks you down. The hydrofoil loses momentum. So I turn around in a minute and go back. So I think people need to understand, and this is where my values are, that a relationship is absolutely, really important. And I'm showing and showing you my hobbies that I do, because it's not about smothering the other person. It's about being considerate and caring and give, take, care and share. But when you're with somebody and they're just falling away, or they're struggling with things that really haven't got anything to do with the health and welfare of the relationship, and you're suffering because of it, it's really sad. But you're probably with the wrong person, and they'd be better off without you as well. People have different ways of doing things and different ways of going about things. And we have to respect that. And by respecting that, sometimes we need to let things go. Not to be cruel or nasty, but you know in your heart when something's just not right, just not on track, it's not on point, it's dragged on long enough. You know. You're not stupid. You know. And that's when, particularly at my age, you have to think fast and go, what am I going to do? You can go into tolerance, but if tolerance doesn't change anything, then you're wasting your time. And what you'll find is the longer the unresolved is there, the more the resentment gets a hold, this can often cause the person to go outside the relationship for soothing. You become more of a problem than a benefit, and the thing disintegrates anyway. So you can't win either way, particularly if it's not a problem that you're causing. And that's where it sucks. That's where it really sucks, because there's not much you can do about it. There's no point you bending your values and playing into a delusion either, because then you're equally enabling that person to believe that they can behave like that. You don't want to encourage that on anyone. You've been listening to Reverend Dr. J.W. Morrison, Theologist, just showing you a few of my hobbies. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you on the next tape. Bye for now.